is the episode where Spike gets his wings for the very first time, kind of like Princess Twilight did at the end of Season 3. All because he has a mold problem that causes him to burp constantly and make things a lot worse and makes very dangerous effects in his skin. But then towards the end of the episode, he gets his wings. You know, I know I skipped a lot in this episode, but this episode is really plain and simple, considering the fact that dragons in Spike Age completely went through these situations and problems when they get mold in their skin, and they go through a transformation where they are able to be independent and stuff. But at the end of the episode, Spike decides to stay with Twilight Sparkle because you know that they're family, and I'm still not reviewing that episode, which is the 24th episode of Season 8, and you pretty much know what episode I'm talking about. I've already mentioned that in Triple Threat, so go check that review out so you can understand why I don't like it. Even though if I didn't explain it, but you might understand. Now we get some moments between Smolder and Spike when they try to get along about the life of dragons and what they do outside of Ponyville, but I really think that it could have been a little bit more executed because, for one thing, this episode starts off when Spike gets a mole when he's hanging out with Royalty to find other gems. Granted, it can happen out of nowhere, but at the same time, I think that it could have been more executed considering the fact that we got this information way earlier, to the point that Twilight is completely shocked that Spike is having mole problems and having burping problems. And if you don't believe me, that animation, even if it was really poorly, is Spike's ball. Fire breathing, or whatever you call it. And he's really having this crisis situation where he can't be able to control himself, and he really needs Zagor's help in order to turn him back to normal. But to make things even worse, a rock completely captures Zagor and Royalty, and they need to stop the rock from causing a lot of chaos or taking them to a different location when they're not going to be able to find them. But towards the end of the episode, Spike, who have wings now, decides to help Princess Twilight saving Royalty and Zagor. Probably a good ending to this episode, which is probably explains onto why Spike has completely changed character development. But in this episode, unlike in those episodes where he actually had good episodes, this is really important because unlike Twilight Sparkle, who did a very unbelievable tax that she got her wings, Spike got his wings because he was born with wings. Even if he wasn't, because when you get a bit older and when you come to that age where you have mold in your human body or something, or dragon body, or whatever you prefer, you might have that feeling that you might get dragon wings, and you're probably going to be in a different situation. This episode is like done better in the Dragon Quest episode where Spike is just treating miserable. But since everyone is really respecting him, since that he has wings and for the most completely understand where he's coming from, I guess it kind of fits in this case. Granted, it was kind of out of nowhere, like I mentioned before, that the mole thing came in the beginning of the episode, but at the same time, I really don't think that's really much of an issue. I really enjoy this episode, considering the fact that it can follow Spike's character. Even if it didn't in the 24th episode, it might could in the 9th season. We just have one more season, and I know there's at least 1 or 2 Spike episodes being made for the 9th season of the show. So overall, Molt is a really decent episode, despite some problems I have, like the beginning of the episode, where they completely begin this episode with Spike getting molds, but it's something that dragons usually get. But I really found that completely weird to start off the episode. I give this episode a 7.5 out of 10, and I'll see you next time.